Las Vegas rocks all around the clock. Las Vegas rocks, 'cause this town never stops. Las Vegas rocks all around the clock, 'cause this town never stops. Las Vegas rocks.
Las Vegas rocks.
It's the Las Vegas Rocks radio show, the show before the show. Join us for a fast-paced hour of celebrity interviews and entertainment news. And now, here's Ron.
For Las Vegas.
And welcome to the Las Vegas Rocks radio show. I'm your host, Ron Garrett. Joining me, along with co-host Tom Hillary. Hello, Tom. We have a wonderful crowd in here tonight. We have a terrific lineup of people to talk to. First up is a singer, dancer, performer on Star Search and Showgirls of Magic. You know Bonnie Sachs, of course. And also the lead singer of Juliet and the Jets, Juliet Northrop. Hello, Juliet.
Hi, how are you?
How are you today? You need to bring the mic a little bit closer to your face. From the best comedy clubs in the nation and Las Vegas, an actor. We're going to talk about your big scene in the movie when you had 4 lines, which we know about, wrote down, and have available for you to hear over and over again. Mr. Keith Lyle. Hello, Keith.
Hello, everybody.
Thanks for coming by today.
Thank you.
And sitting over there is my good buddy, the award-winning, famous illustrator to the stars, Mr. Neil Portnoy.
Ron, always a pleasure to be back.
On the phone this evening, our producer, singer, entertainer, Johnny Bird. Also on our way back to Palm Springs without a back window, Diva Rose Kingsley. We'll talk about what happened. You'll tell us about that in a few minutes.
Correct.
Right, Neil?
Oh, yeah.
And also star of Black Tie Vegas and Mr. New Year's Eve, Mr. Luke Zera. He'll be calling in just a few minutes. But first, a reminder of the mission. The Las Vegas Rocks radio show is here to promote local entertainment. We're here to promote people like you people here that are here right now. That you're not on the strip with a big headlining name on a marquee all over the place. You're a local entertainer, and we want to support them just like Mr. Portnoy does with his works of art that he has in his studio. He supports people here locally. We support local entertainers. That's what this show's all about, to keep the Vegas vibe going. Let's say hello to Tammy, honey, here at home, listening to this show. Thank you, and I love you. Chris Jason, Barbara Brighton. Hey, Janet Conway up in New Jersey. Janet got real close to having a tornado take off her front door. And the flooding came almost. She said she lives on a little bit of a hill. No worries, but she was right there in the middle of Janet. Conway is Gene Ferrari's promotion manager. Gene Ferrari in Florida, he's running away from hurricanes at the same time, I think. My pal PJ Gia Maria, he's out there floating around in the RV. And his lovely wife, Marilyn, and he calls her Mar. But her name is Marilyn. Use the whole name, PJ. Marilyn Gia Maria. Also Marty in Reno in the famous Marty Party. He's having steak and lobster on the Barbie tonight as they listen to this show in Reno, Nevada. Jerry Walker in Ely, Nevada, the general manager of the Prospector Hotel Casino, right there on Main Street in Ely. And Jerry, does anybody really live in Ely? Johnny Bird will be on a little bit later, about 20 after, Jim? About 20 after. Georgette Dante, my favorite gypsy, she's out there. Hello to Nina and Annabella, Peggy Henderson, Alan and Kathy Glist, Adam Steck, John Bomarito, Sal Santiago, Lisa Mascari, Mark Mayfield, Joel Righetti, Sonny Tice, Tammy's mom, all the folks at the IAC. What are their names again? Oh, yeah.
Ben in the group.
Ben Spano, Jimmy Gerard, and Angelo Casaro. We're going to say hello to you, Neil, but you're right here. Not to worry about that. You're still on my sheet. I got to cross it off.
Cross me off.
I will.
Cross me off.
Aaron Phillips, we watched the show today. You and Aaron and the twin brothers from Different Mothers. Great show today. Good
Yeah, it was
guests.
a lot of fun. Great guests.
It was a lot of fun. Aaron Eligas and his beautiful wife, Raquel. They are with Go Live Vegas. And by the way, if you are not getting this station, you want to get the station easy, you go to 670kmzq.com, or if that's not convenient for you, go to the Go Live Vegas app, and you can hear this show in its entirety and in replays, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Do we get residuals for the replays? I'm just asking for a
I
friend.
don't know. I don't know. For a friend.
Yeah.
What's his name, Neil?
I don't know. I get too
Yeah,
many.
okay. Evan Davis, how you doing, Evan? Johnny Skaggs out there in Costa Rica. My buddy David Arciero in Bangkok, Thailand right now, running a hotel. Ira Sternberg. Hello, Ira. Glad to talk to you. And the Bronx Wonder is going to be opening soon, and I always like to give them a little bit of a plug.
Great show.
It's a great show. So those are my shout-outs for the beginning. And now, right now, Neil, before we go to talk to everyone, we'll take a quick break. But before that, we're going to play your new jingle.
Unveiling, launching the new jingle. Special shout-out to Heidi Thompson,
And
Lanny Counts,
Gene Saronin.
Gene Saronin, Ron Garrett, and the team that helped put this together.
Well, you found some good video, my friend, and you put it together. We all did it, and it's a great jingle with video. It actually debuted this afternoon on your show, Twin Brothers from Different Mothers. But it's all about being Portnoy, and Lanny Counts is the voice on this. And as Neil just said, produced by Heidi Thompson and Gene Saronin. Ladies and gentlemen, the debut of Have You Been Portnoyed?
You're already a work of art, meant to be enjoyed. So Las Vegas has a question. Have you been Portnoy? Have you been Portnoy? You're already a work of art, meant to be enjoyed. So Las Vegas has a question. Have you been Portnoy?
Hey, let's hear that one more time. Because it's only 31 seconds. I want more. Here it is again. As soon as the machine cues up.
You're already a work of art, meant to be enjoyed. So Las Vegas has a question. Have you been Portnoy? Have you been Portnoy? You're already a work of art, meant to be enjoyed. So Las Vegas has a question. Have you been Portnoy?
This is Lee Habib, and I get asked all the time why we do all of those segments on Our American Stories about people who found the American dream. And we do it because it's true. This country has great stories to tell, and we tell them on this station every night, because one thing I've learned is this: there's an American story in all of us. Join me for Our American Stories right here.
Heard nightly, Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. to midnight, and Sunday, 9 a.m. to noon, only on AM 670.
Hi, I'm Brad Keselowski, driver of the number 2 Discount Tire Ford Mustang. Did you know one of the most important keys to success on the track and for safe driving on the road is having the right pressure in your tires? Properly inflated tires are essential to help you get the best gas mileage and keep you driving safely. Check your tire pressure at least once a month or stop by your local tire retailer for an air check.
A message from the U.S. Tire Manufacturers Association.
And we're back on the Las Vegas Rocks radio show. I'm your host, Ron Garrett, along with my guests, Keith Lyle, Juliet Northrup, Neil Portnoy, and Tom Hillary. They're all here today. Juliet, you're up first. Bring that mic up to your face there. You know,
Hello.
Pretend you're on stage and you're just belting one out, all right? Because you've been on a lot of stages. You studied hotel management in Hawaii?
Yes.
And did you run a hotel there at all, Juliet?
No.
So, but it gave you a nice insight into how Vegas works in a way by being in management at a hotel?
Well, that's what I studied and I majored. I started with that. And then I got sidetracked with the with shows.
Well, that's not sidetracked. That became your career, right?
Right.
Because you're a dancer, a singer. You were a singer at tour. It was a tour around the world, was it?
Yes, I toured. I came to Las Vegas the early 80s with my dance teacher. He brought me over to Vegas and started working shows. So from 1980, with a good run of over 20 years, been doing.
You're also a Janet Jackson and Tina Turner tribute artist as well?
I did.
Yeah, are you still doing that at all?
Sometimes. I do more Tina. and then different variety songs now.
Mm-hmm. Now you're going to be doing the fourth annual Personality Awards at the Notoriety Club, October the 8th, downtown, presented by Luke Perry. You're one of the singers, entertainers in the show.
Yes.
Are you working right now with Juliet and the Jets? Is that
That
the current?
was my band like 2 or 3 years ago, and now I'm starting a new band. So it's called Undercover 4.
Sounds pretty sexy to me. Yeah, where's it going to be at? Do you have a place yet? A room?
Well, we put out played some music at Saturn Spurs for Luke Perry.
Did you do it last Wednesday night? Were you there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I missed it. I was a little under the weather. Well, the weather was under me. I forget. And it was a good crowd.
Good turnout, though, I heard. Luke had a good turnout at Saddle and Spurs, and a lot of the people that are being mentioned and honored and part of the whole celebration, I guess, got up and, it was like an open mic situation. Everybody got to do a little bit and a little mingling, and Luke walked around and said hi to everybody, and I, unfortunately, had earlier plans, so I was also unable to attend the event, but I heard it went over well, and it's a good preface to what's coming up on.
Now, you're also being honored as well.
Yeah, Dorothy and I are both being honored for our philanthropic. Yeah, that took me a while. I practiced that word. It's got a lot of syllables, and we're going to be there, and we were going to do a Bonnie and Cher.
Sonny and Cher. Bonnie and Cher didn't quite make it.
No, it was more like Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah,
what
they did all right. Yeah, but they killed.
Well, I was going to get on my knees and put shoes at the bottom of my knees so I could be Sonny, and we were just going to, talk over the music being played and not do very well. But we chose not to do it.
Well, Juliet, you're going to be there on the 8th. You're going to be there, Neil. I'm going to be there, and our families will be there. Our guests will be there. And Keith, you'll be probably appearing in that room.
Yeah, definitely.
We're talking with Keith Lyle right now, the comedian.
Yes.
An actor.
Yes.
Well, before I get to you, I have a cut here of you, Juliet, doing your Bobby McGee song.
Oh.
A great song.
Okay, it's a great song. And I'd like to play it right now, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about this after it's over. Here you are.
West of Flying Baton Rouge, waiting for the train, when I was feeling nearly fainted as I choose. Bobby thumbed the teaser down just before it rained, and rose all the way to New Orleans. But I pulled my heart out of my dirty red bandana, but I was playing soft while Bobby sang the blues. Yeah. Windshield wipers slapping time, I was holding Bob's hand. Every song that's driving you. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing, ain't nothing, honey, that ain't free. Yeah, feeling good was easy, Lord, when we sang the blues. Feeling good was good enough for me. Good enough for me and my Bobby McGee.
That's wonderful. Wow, Julie. Where did you do that one?
That was pretty while back.
And who's with you? Is it Bruce Thompson?
Brian Thompson.
Brian Thompson.
Yeah.
I can't see that far over there. I see the beat.
The acoustic. Mm-hmm. That was a while ago.
How long ago was that?
2013 is what it says.
2013.
Wow.
Do you remember where you did that? What room that was in?
It probably was at the Cellar.
At the Cellar, okay.
On Sahara, that old Cellar club.
Okay. I'm going to come back to you in a little bit because I want to hear about when you were a stagehand. Because you belong to the IATSE, and that's the stagehand union, and I had a lot.
You got that.
And I had a lot of issues with the stagehand union when I was the entertainment director at the Sahara.
Oh.
And I had all my shows in the showrooms, and we fought a lot with IATSE. Right. They always won, and I'll get more into it in a little while.
I used to win at Yahtzee. Is that the same thing?
IATSE.
IATSE. I was confused.
IATSE. But before that, I want to chat with Keith for a little bit, and then we're going to get some of your announcements going here. We already talked about the jingle, Neil, And we're going to come back and talk about your great artwork and the awards that you just got just yesterday. We found out.
Yesterday we found out.
We found out yesterday. So let me get my notes on you.
Okay.
Get my notes out, Keith. You're from Chicago.
Originally Chicago.
Lived in Vernon Hills.
Yes,
huh?
yes.
You lived there too, and then you moved to Las Vegas.
Yeah, 93 I moved here.
You studied at UNLV
I
in
did.
communication. What is the communication curriculum like at UNLV? They teach you how to be a disc jockey?
They do, yeah.
They do?
Yeah. They teach you how to be an announcer and how to do voiceover work. Did
you skip that class?
I did. I was hungover that day.
Okay.
I spent more time doing broadcast journalism, and my goal at the time, I think, was to get into sales because at that point I was old enough to know that the only money in broadcasting is really in the selling of the spots.
That's for sure.
Yeah. And at the time, I worked my way through college full-time as a dealer in the casinos. So I was working full-time, going to school full-time, and I just, after I graduated, ended up staying in the casinos as a dealer because I was making more money doing that than anything I could do in broadcasting.
What transitioned into comedy?
Well, I was working at a very big casino on the Strip that rhymes with Shmanishan. And but I don't want to.
Of course, we don't want to say the name,
no,
right?
No, I don't want to get sued. And I was dealing on blackjack and craps games, and all the players were telling me that I was funnier than the show they saw the night before. You're funnier than the comedian we saw the night before, So I slowly transitioned into. I didn't know what to do with it, so I started taking improv classes because Second City was here, and I was more into like getting the immediate gratification of laughs immediately with like stand-up comedy. I used to sneak into comedy clubs when I was a kid with a fake ID in Chicago. We'd drive in from the suburbs. My friends would go to bars. I'd come to the comedy club and meet up with them afterwards. So I saw all this great comedy and. It made me want to do it at a very late stage of my life. I was, in my late 30s.
You're still a young man to me.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, the question I have is...
what do you got for him today, Neil?
Well, listen, to watch it visually and then to actually get on a stage with people in front of, the old adage, everybody's wearing their underwear, just look at one person and you can kind of make it through, right? I mean, that's not an easy thing to do. I mean, you can think in the shower you're funny.
I go commando.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, I go commando.
If Ron is in the audience, you have to imagine him not wearing underwear,
That's right.
Which is even more scary than speaking in front of people.
As a matter of fact, we want to get that picture out of everybody's minds right now.
Yeah, we hate loud screams.
That's right.
Moving right along.
Please, Tammy's making a face right now going, oh, why did you say that?
Did you have a comedy writer, or did you write your own jokes?
I write my own material. Most comedy most people doing stand-up write their own material until they're so busy doing other things that they need to hire writers to help them.
They play to their strength and find somebody that their weakness is
right.
their strength.
So someone like, I don't know, Amy Schumer is so busy now that, like, if you notice in her first special, it was mostly her material that she'd been working on her whole career. Then in her second special, it was a little bit different, because she didn't have time to write and hone that material over the years that she did with her first special.
How did you have the time? I mean, you were dealing, you were doing the stuff in the casino. I mean, a very good friend of Ron and mine is Cliff Lawrence.
Oh, I know Cliff.
Who wrote for Leno
Funny
for 17 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Cliff.
And he cranks out jokes every single day.
Well, it's a muscle, just like any other muscle. The same way that you would use your art, use your drawing or painting or whatever. It's the same thing when you're writing jokes. You have to look at things a certain way. There's different laugh triggers.
But it's timing.
Then there's the timing, and that's where the practice comes in.
Sure.
And that's where getting on stage all the time. If it was easy, everyone would do it.
Well, it's the ability you're born with. You learn a technique. You enhance it with repetition.
Yes.
Do it again, do it again, do it
exactly.
again.
That's
It's an interesting part of Keith's career. He headlined for Don Barnhart's All-Star Comedy Tour. So you visited Afghanistan.
I was there.
Yeah, are you glad you're not right now?
A little bit.
He got out. He got out.
A little bit. We were in all those places.
Afghanistan. I have all the stands.
Yes.
Uzbekistan, Mazukistan, Mazulistan. Kazakhstan, and all that.
Yeah.
Also Spain, Greece, the EU, Lebanon, all with Armed Forces Entertainment Tour.
Yes, I've done 5 tours overseas entertaining the troops.
So when you were in
Kuwait,
since Afghanistan
right.
is in the news right now, You were there in Kabul. Is that where you were? Is there any other city besides Kabul?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Right. Well, there's Bagram. But we went to some of the bases up north that hadn't had any entertainment since really the start of the war. And I was fortunate enough to go with Don Barnhart, who has a residency here in town down at Delirious Comedy Club at the Grand. And his thing was to go to these places that didn't get entertainment. It's hard to do their jobs every day, and it's not just the people on the front lines; it's the people behind the scenes that handle the food, the pay, the everything. And we spent a lot of time meeting everyone on the base, and the show is really secondary to meeting everyone on the base, telling stories, making them feel like they're not forgotten. Because they're over there away from everybody, and to be gone for 3 or 4 weeks, it was really hard on my wife and I, but imagine how hard it is to be over there for 9 months or a year.
Yeah, imagine it right now.
Yeah, it's impossible. So just to be over there and swap dirty jokes off stage with each other, do a little show, and then just hang out and just, they're smoking cigars, you're just sitting and telling stories. It's really
just
nice.
Cigars?
The poppies grow wild there.
I know. That's why I brought that up.
They're very adamant about not doing it. They do. I do remember at one base they had confiscated while they were out on patrol a bunch of marijuana, and one guy, it was his responsibility to sleep on a pillow of 30 pounds of marijuana bud. That's what he did all night.
Heaven.
Yes,
I'm in heaven.
Yes.
On the phone right now, Neil, is Johnny Bird.
JB.
There he is.
Hey, Johnny, how are you? You're sitting in with Keith Lyle and the beautiful Julie Northrup, Mr. Neil Portnoy, and Tom Hillary, along with Jim Dallas. And right on the phone right now is our good friend, and he's going to tell us about his upcoming things. One's tomorrow, isn't it? Johnny Bird, ladies and gentlemen, The Rise of the Phoenix.
It is. I'm in the midst of all this magical talent. Wow, I'm honored.
Well, you're good talent too, my friend.
Well, thank you very much. And quick shout-out. I know you're going to talk about it, but congratulations to Neil, man, from everybody and all your fans. Great job, and the artistic equivalent of a residency, man. We're all so proud of you.
Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate it.
Johnny, tell us about what you've got coming up.
Booze. I got some booze coming up tomorrow.
That sounds good.
At the Gold Coast. We're having a meet and greet from 6 to 8 to meet the new band, meet the producers, meet all the principals that are going to be putting together the great new show that we have starting on the 30th of this month at the Gold Coast. We're going to have a couple of reveal videos, and most of the band, I think maybe all of the band's going to be there. And I'm so thrilled to finally put together all the pieces of my dream that are coming together on the 30th.
We're happy for you, too. And you're going to have some merchandise. Are you going to have some cups out there tomorrow?
Johnny's doing a lot of merch himself, utilizing the course. I want to call it the Bird Portnoy, because his hairdo, I think there's 3 birds that land in the hairdo.
Oh, leave him alone.
No, Johnny's very good at merching and understanding how that works, and I'm sure he's going to have some. And I also want to mention that Johnny's going to be our guest on Twin Brothers next week from noon to 1.
Oh, good. Can't
so
wait to
tune
see
into that as well.
Terrific.
Very
Johnny,
excited to be there.
Johnny, to say that again, tomorrow you're having a meet and greet at the Gold Coast?
Yeah, meet and greet cocktails at the Gold Coast upstairs in the ballroom coming up on the 30th. And through the end of the year, we're going to be kind of taking over one of the ballrooms upstairs for our show.
That's fantastic. Can I get you on the show next week, live and in person? This show?
Check your schedule. I won't be able to. I have kind of a mini residency at a casino at the steps of Death Valley, and we're back there.
Oh, let's come to you. We'll all come to Death Valley, Johnny.
Is that theater out there?
In Death Valley? Is there a theater there? Yeah?
There's a theater, no. The Amargosa Valley Theater, Opera Theater.
All right.
But we're 7 miles from there. It's literally in the middle of nowhere.
Well, I want you back on before the opening. I think we have time. It's just started September. So to promote it for the opening of your show going to the Gold Coast. Did you say September 30th? Is that right?
September 30th. It's a Thursday. It's and we're doing our research, so don't quote me on this yet, but I believe we will be the only production dinner show in Vegas when we start up.
Wow.
Johnny, what's the show called?
Show called is Johnny Bird, The Rise of the Phoenix.
And they can get in touch with you about ticket info how?
They can go online to newvegas.live. We have a new website coming online shortly, but our old website is still up and running. They can call our office at 725-205-2349 to get more information or how to buy tickets.
And they'll get the sweet Anna. They won't talk to you, correct? I'm just asking for a friend.
She is so sweet.
Got a lot of friends, Neil. Yeah. Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate the call in. We look forward to seeing you on Twin Brothers next week. And we'll get you in here before the 30th, I hope, and have you live in person in the studio. You're a great guy, Johnny. We wish you well, my friend.
Thank you so much, Mr. G. You're the best.
Thank you very much. Okay, that's Johnny Bird. And guess what? Rose Kingsley's on the phone. Let's get to her right away. Hey, Rose.
Hello.
Are you having a breeze blowing in your back window right now?
Yes, a warm tropical breeze.
Yeah, so we don't want to go into a detail, but go ahead, Neil.
Yes, we do.
Go ahead.
All right, Neil, tell me the story.
You and Norm were down at Bootleggers watching Joey Malati. Joey was playing down there and enjoying entertainment, and you came out
I was about to sing.
You were about to
FYI.
sing, and then you got the word. Somebody tapped you on your shoulder and said, "Oh, by the way, does anybody have a Tesla?" And, of course, Norm raised his hand because he's proud of his Tesla. And he said, "Yeah, I do." And, well, it just gets broken into. So somebody broke into the car. The back window smashed it, a little damage on the car. Took Norm's briefcase, but he's Jewish. There was nothing in it. and then you guys checked all the cameras. So good. You'll get it fixed. And you drive back to the other desert. Will be a little warm, but you'll make it.
Yeah, it's a little warm. It is, but I mean, we're halfway home.
That's
so
good. You'll be back on the 19th, right?
Yes, for my show, which is an afternoon of Andrew Lloyd Webber, and we have excerpts from Jesus Christ Superstar, Cast, all the great Webber songs that you could think of, Evita, Sunset Boulevard, and then half of the rest of the half of the show is about the Phantom of the Opera, and we do about 7 numbers, and we play Raul, Christine, the Phantom, Carlotta, the producers,
wow,
and my guest is from New York, who is one of the leading operatic tenors, and Neil knows all about tenors now.
Yes, I do.
He knows about tenors and fivers and oneers.
Yeah.
And C notes.
FYI, Neil is starting lessons.
Yeah, just like JD's giving me drum lessons. I got nowhere to go with this. I'm going to stick to the drawing board. Good. Hey, I got to mention one.
So my tenor is from New York, and Alan Glassman.
Sounds great, Rose.
Tenor, and my conductor is Gregory Buchhalter, also from the Metropolitan Opera. So we have and of course, moi, who has graced the stages of the Met and Carnegie Hall. And so it's going to be a great show, and it has toured all over the East Coast and the West Coast, and now we're in Las Vegas.
Well, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it. We can't wait to see the show. You'll be on this show the Saturday before the Sunday to promote it again.
And definitely. And tickets can be had at, Neil knows this, rosekingsley.com. And
just give out Norm's telephone number. Have him call
personal
Norm.
number. Yeah, and we also want to know the
foryou.com, and our phone number is 760.
And what's the numbers on his briefcase that this guy can get and he can open it?
Yeah,
6351. That's what it is. Hey, Rose, thank you so much for calling in. I know you're on the road right now. We appreciate it. We'll be talking to you soon.
And we'll see you in about a week.
You bet. Great job. Great job on the Twin Brothers today, Rose.
Oh, it was fun.
Okay.
Love them.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, Rose.
Bye.
We're going to be right back with Tom Hillary to tell us about what's going on with his movie in the United Kingdom. But first, a song that all disc jockeys love. Listen to this. WKRP in Cincinnati.
Baby, if you've ever wondered whatever became of me, I'm living on the air in Cincinnati. Cincinnati, WKRP. Got kinda tired of packing and unpacking. Town to town, up and down the dial. Maybe you and me were never meant to be. Just maybe think of me once in a while. Heading up that highway, leaving you behind. Hardest thing I ever had to do. Broke my heart in two, but baby, pay no mind. The price for finding me was losing you.
Both were prosecutors in the Clark County District Attorney's Office, each with 25 years of experience. One was chief of the Special Victims Unit, the other chief of the Homicide Unit. Both dedicated, both respected. Together, they are Craig Hendricks and Frank Como, the Vegas Dream Team for criminal defense you need in your corner. Call 702-222-9999 or visit vegasdreamteam.com, a division of DeCastro Verde Law Group.
The COVID-19 pandemic is scary. It's changing the way our children are growing up. It's important to talk to our kids how they're feeling about what's going on. From toddler to high school, there are resources to help. Visit nvhealthresponse.nv.gov for more resources to help your family cope with the issues facing families amid the pandemic. Sponsored by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Nevada Division of Emergency Management, and your local emergency manager's office. Aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
And we're back on the Las Vegas Rocks radio show. With me, of course, our co-host, Mr. Tom Hillary. Tom, I'm looking for that poster that you sent me of your new movie. I don't know what category. You know how you get something in the phone, you can never find to get it out. Anyway, you had some hot chicks on that poster.
Yeah,
Tom Hillary, ladies and gentlemen, has a new movie in production. Tell us all about it.
Yes,
Tom.
indeed. Looks Can Kill. Now, remember, this is a work of fiction because stuff like this never happens, but it's set in the entertainment and modeling industry, and some people get abused.
Never happens.
I know. You
Never
see, it's a
seen
work of fiction. Oh, also, some people manage to advance themselves, maybe not based on merit and work ethic. Again, never happens, right? Well, when you got people going through a lifetime of that, sometimes anger and resentment boils over and spills into revenge. So remembering that this is just a work of fiction, that's what Looks Can Kill is about. So we're on the third day of production in the United Kingdom, and it looks really good. I'm keeping in touch with these guys.
Are you working with them on Zoom and FaceTime and all that?
Yeah.
How do you coordinate? You wrote the movie? Are you screenplay by you?
Yeah, well, I'm the original author of the movie, and it's polished by Neva Frieden.
And you're the producer as well?
Yes.
Executive producer.
Executive
Your
producer.
company, Starbright?
Yep, Starlight Productions.
Starlight, right.
Yeah.
I get that one of these.
So, well, the good
Starlight Productions.
Yeah. You like the name Starbright, don't you, Ron?
The theaters. I can't get the theater out of my head.
My Little Pony, come on.
That's what
you're a brony.
Well, yeah, before we got going, I had Zoom conference calls. We did a table read of the entire script via Zoom. I had to swap out two of the girls. They were miscast. One of them went flaky and quit the day before shooting. Sorry, lady, we replaced you within 12 hours. That'll teach you.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. So the guys, they were very much in tune with what I wanted to do.
What are the names of the stars?
Name of the, well, you haven't heard
They're
of them.
not stars yet, but they
I'm
will
going
be
to make
after
them
this
stars.
movie.
Danielle Scott is the leading lady who plays Rhonda Bettenthal, the great actress, great model who gets great parts like Mandy the Maniac in Maniac Mansion. She doesn't quite get the artistic fulfillment she wants. When she tries to come back later on, she ends up the best thing she can find is modeling for detective magazines. That's the peak of the modeling world.
When this
right?
gets finished, are they going to edit it over in the UK? Do you get a chance to get in there for the final edit?
I'll probably be directing it from here.
Directing it from here?
Yeah, what happens is they're just going to be sending me the material all day, every day. What do you think of this? Should we use these shots, these other shots?
There's no direct flights to England from Vegas?
Well, there are direct flights, but when you're on a micro-budget level, it's, if I started putting that expense in, too, I'd lose money on the movie for sure.
So all the people now that are in the movie all reside in the UK?
Yes, they reside in the UK, all working on American accents. And doing pretty darn well. So I told them, this has got to play in North America. They said, yes, we understand.
Will it be in theater release?
I'm really not sure. ITN Distribution has the contract on it. They have gotten movies into theaters before. I'm hoping so, but Don't know.
Looks Can Kill.
Looks Can Kill.
Now, you have 2 other movies that are available right now.
Well, the big one I've got going is Eric Roberts
Right.
did Project Solitude, Buried Alive, and you can buy that one from me directly on Vimeo. Just go to Vimeo, type in that title, and up it'll come, and I actually get to see the money from
Mickey
it.
Rourke?
Mickey Rourke. We did one called The Legion. That's available, already available, and I've got a second one going with him called Commando.
So all these movies, and I'm glad to see you got it going because you've been wanting to do this for years that I've known you.
Oh, yes.
And you've tried so many different things. You've been successful at some not so much. But this one sounds like a winner. I love the title. I love the premise. I like the format. I like all of it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
We will, and we need to play it here in town. Neil, what do you think? Oh, you don't have a microphone right now. I'll come back to you in just a minute. That's right.
You can borrow mine.
I think we have more mics over at Aaron's place, right? We got to work on that.
Oh, one other quick item too. We do have the Tom Berenger movie going into production.
Oh, Tom, he's great actor.
Yeah, Black Warrant. He's that's the first time I'm going to be financing a movie with a Golden Globe winner.
Okay.
Yeah, Roberts is a Golden Globe nominee. Rourke is an Academy Award nominee, but this is the first time over the top. Oh, he's an Emmy winner too, by the way,
Great
Berenger.
stuff. Great stuff. Wow. Hey, we're behind on break, so skip the music going in and just go ahead and run the break right now. Can you do that for me, Jim? And we'll come right back with more of Neil and beautiful Juliet, and certainly with Keith and Tom. We'll be right back.
Both were prosecutors in the Clark County District Attorney's Office, each with 25 years of experience. One was chief of the Special Victims Unit, the other chief of the Homicide Unit. Both dedicated, both respected. Together, they are Craig Hendricks and Frank Como, the Vegas Dream Team for criminal defense you need in your corner. Call 702-222-9999 or visit vegasdreamteam.com, a division of DeCastro Verde Law Group.
The COVID-19 pandemic is scary. It's changing the way our children are growing up. It's important to talk to our kids how they're feeling about what's going on. From toddler to high school, there are resources to help. Visit nvhealthresponse.nv.gov for more resources to help your family cope with the issues facing families amid the pandemic. Sponsored by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Nevada Division of Emergency Management, and your local emergency manager's office. Aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
And we're back on the Las Vegas Rocks radio show. Tom, Hillary, Neil Portnoy, Juliet Northrup, and Keith Lyle. Hey, Keith.
Yeah.
I have a cut here from the movie you were in. We haven't talked about that yet.
Okay.
You were in Hangover.
Yes.
The first one?
The good one, yeah, the first one. Yeah.
I liked the second one because it was Vegas, I think. Was the second one in Vegas?
No, the first one.
The first, that's the good one. Then. Okay. It was in Vegas. It was the good one.
We're going to break for commercial. We'll be back in 15 details at 11. Definitely the first one, right?
That's right. Okay,
good.
Definitely the first one. But there was 3, Neil.
Yeah.
There was 3.
I didn't see him.
Right, Tom? 3
The second
more.
one was in Thailand.
Did you see the first one?
Yes.
You did. Second one was in Thailand?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Bangkok.
Yeah.
In Bangkok.
The third one, I think they came back here, but it was more of an action film.
So before I play this very short, limited, almost you didn't get a SAG card bit cut, how many lines do you need to get a SAG card, Tom? 1?
Yeah.
1 line.
Yeah, I got 4.
You got 4, so you got 4 SAG cards?
Yes, 4 SAG cards. I do get a residual check.
Tell us how this came about. How'd you get in that movie?
It was, I got an agent through my classes at Second City, and this was the second audition I ever did. We videoed the audition, my agent and I happened to be a dealer at the Schmanetian, and
the Schmanetian.
Yes, I knew what I was doing, and they really liked that. I had a shoe for cards. I knew how to cut the chips, and they were impressed with that. They called me in for a second audition, and the director looked at me and said, "Hey, what happens if you think someone's counting cards?" And I said, "Because you can't call the floor person over." I said, "You just got to shoot him a look." And he catches you jerking your head real fast, and he knows something's up. And That's kind of the tell. And he said, I said, you probably catch it from the eye in the sky. And he goes, oh, that's exactly how we do it. We shoot from his eye, from his look. And he said, we don't need to see the other people. This is our guy right here. And they hired me right there.
Now, did they hire you because you're a funny comedian, or they hire you because you were a good dealer?
They hired me because I was a good dealer. I hadn't even started doing stand-up yet.
Okay, so this was your debut.
My debut. I just started.
Now, those of you can watch on Facebook Live. You can see the right screen over here of the video we're about to play. And this is just a quick scene. You have 4 lines in this. And for those of you who don't hear what he says, I have it here.
Yes.
And I'll read it to you after. Actually, we'll play it twice. Go ahead. This is the...
Change only 10,000.
Cut.
That's one. That's the big one.
Okay, that's their line. Change only 10,000.
Change only 10,000, and we filmed it. I actually had to count the 10,000 out. I had it in cash.
Let's play it again. This is it. This is your big time. You get.
Change only 10,000.
Cut.
That's it.
I love it.
I like your accent too.
Thank you. I get a residual check 4 times a year, and I spend it at that bar right across the street.
Was there a residual check?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Every year?
4 times a year.
Can you tell us how much it is?
The first year it was like $17,000.
Wow. For that?
For that. It was 4 lines. I worked 4 days, which has something to do with how much each line and each day. That's how much of a share you get. It's 20% share.
Cut 10,000. I'm just trying to get.
Only 10,000.
Yeah, I'll give you $5 for that.
Yeah. And I also had a line in the DVD extras. So, and they were really the director was really good about making sure I got lines in the film. He told me later, because we worked on another film called War Dogs. He told me later that he wanted to make sure that I got a full share of the of a residual check coming through. The most you could get is 15 shares. So that's what the stars
did you get paid to do the original?
It was 4 days. There was a lot of extra time. It was right around $6,700 for the.
So you got more money on the residuals than you
I got
did
more
for
money on the residuals than I did. Yeah, that's actually.
You get
true.
more money on prints than you do on originals, there, Neil?
Not to those numbers.
No.
I'm in the wrong field.
The last check I got was only for a couple of hundred. So.
Yeah, we want to be in your next movie.
Right. Well, when you're in a movie, part of it is the way that it breaks down is DVD sales, pay-per-view sales when it runs on TV, and as time goes on and all those runs, you get less and less and less. So the run goes down. But when you think about like TV shows and all the syndication that it has, you get on a TV show like say Friends or like the. 5-6 years of show, you got residuals for life. I mean, according to Jim, you may, Jim Belushi, you may make fun of him, but he was on it for 9 years, and it runs all over the country, and
Everywhere.
he never has to work again. He could go be a marijuana farmer up in Oregon now.
Did you ever make callbacks to do another movie?
I've auditioned for other films. I did Get Him to the Greek, but I got cut out.
That was a funny movie, by the way.
It was. It was very
Get Him
good.
to the Greek.
They were fun. It was a fun movie to be on. We had a good time. Some other local commercials.
Yeah, I wrote it down. You were on a couple
War
of commercials.
Dogs. Yeah.
Oh, that's
War
Julie.
Dogs.
I said you were a dancer in. No, that's Julie.
Yeah, that was a dancer.
No, that's not the one.
Yes.
However, when I looked you up, I didn't know you were a black football player.
I was. Yes. I played for the St. Louis Rams.
You say the St. Louis? No.
Yeah, won a Super Bowl, and what was it? 2000?
Keith Lyle is a football player.
Yes.
When I was researching Keith,
Yes.
he kept coming up all the time.
Yeah.
And I said, doesn't look like you.
What's the matter? I see the resemblance. I'm an artist. We can do this.
We have the same dad but different moms. That's how we got the same man.
Nice.
We're named after the same man.
That'd be for sure.
The question I have, when you apply for a new job, and they ask you for your resume, do you recite that line? Because, what's the resume?
I do. I actually I send over my tape, and on the director's cut of The Hangover, Ed Helms says, "Oh, this guy's a good actor," and I didn't think I was very good, but he said he's a good actor, and the director Todd Phillips says, "Yeah, he's a good actor, a great actor, and really funny."
But do you say, listen, they paid me $17,000, but
No.
my rates have come down. I can do it for $6,000 now.
I was a SAG day player. That's just what I was. It just happened to be that it was a top-selling DVD of all time that year. So the first
one moment in time changes everything.
When they did the slot machine. They did a hangover slot machine.
Sure.
Our residual check went from like $400 to like a couple of grand because they had to pay for the rights to some of the things, and that goes into the pool. And in that pool comes the residuals.
Amazing
and
how that
it's
works.
Producers get first, then all the way down, the actors get last.
Hey, Juliet.
Yes.
What were you? What was your position in the stagehands union in IATSE?
Oh, no. Yeah, well...
Did you actually were you a stagehand?
No, I wasn't stagehand. I don't know how that happened.
But you were part of that union.
No.
No?
Yeah, that was a mistake.
But it showed up on your...
I know. I was like, what was that?
When I'm looking at your bio, and I'm saying, oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
She
No,
was
that's
a
mistake.
mistake. Oh. What's your next thing coming up? What's coming up for you in the future?
Well, it's... The one that's coming up is the Luke Perry's Personality Network Rewards.
Okay. And we're all going to be there to see it.
But hopefully there's other things that's going to come up probably before.
Oh, you're going to get 100 calls for being on this radio show.
Hope so.
Yeah, so do I. That would be nice.
That'd be nice, yes.
Yeah. Let me talk to Neil for a minute. Hey, Neil.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
let's discuss what just happened.
Well, yesterday at the gallery, I got they had, of course, the awards put on by Park West Galleries, their flagship gallery here in Las Vegas, opened recently, and they ran a contest. They had over 500 submissions made in Vegas, featuring local talented artists. And I made it initially to the top 10, and then I made it to the top 3, and the judges now get involved as who's going to win it. Win it, you can put that word in quotes, because the winning prize is to sign a year-long contract to be represented worldwide by Park West Gallery.
Which is one of the biggest.
They are the largest gallery in the world.
In the world. And the headquarters in Southfield, Michigan.
Correct. And they were so impressed with the turnout that voted for me. Again, I was the top vote getter, probably 4 or 5 times what everybody else got combined. And they looked at the work and went, wait a minute, he does this in magic markers? His work is brilliant. We want to give him a contract. So I got a call yesterday from Michigan, from their corporate headquarters, telling me the good news and the bad news. The good news is they're awarding me the same contract that the winner got. The bad news was, of course, I didn't finish on top, but I kind of did finish on top, being the top vote getter and getting the contract. Shout out to Kat Taz, who got chosen. She's a brilliant, brilliant artist. Been at it a lot of years, and she very deservingly won the award. I got the silver medal in the Olympics, which is I'm still a medalist, and I get to sign a contract, but I'm using it like Jennifer Hudson. I did not win American Idol, but we'll see what happens.
Well, that's right. Well, most of the stars out of American Idol didn't win it.
Correct.
Right.
You know, like Lou Gazzara, who is going to be calling in a few minutes. He was a finalist, but he didn't win it, but he's doing well.
Doing
he's
well.
busy.
It doesn't matter.
So very, very, very honored. It's quite an achievement since I've only been here in Vegas for 5 years.
Hey, you've done well.
And it's only the beginning. We've got a whole team of people working now.
What's
for
happening
Portnoy
in
Gallery.
October? Are you not unveiling a new Portnoy Wall of
Yeah,
Honor?
I believe it's October 7th. Don't hold me to the date.
It is.
'cause it is. Okay. We have at the world-famous Portnoy Gallery the Portnoy Wall of Honor. And those are portrait caricatures. You've been Portnoyed. Are up on the wall. There's presently, I think, 68 people on the wall. I have another 187 to put up once we expand the studio, which is in the works. Coming up, we're going to double our size of Portnoy Gallery.
That's another new announcement.
Yeah,
right?
and we're announcing the 2021, I believe there's a dozen or so new inductees, and news that you don't know, Ron, is we've heard from 9 of them already confirming they will be there.
That's great.
Wow. Yeah.
That's great. And we're going to invite a lot of people to this. Everybody in this room for sure. Hopefully they'll show up. Right? We'll try. But I'm pretty sure we'll give you all the information.
Yeah, we had over 150 people in the gallery the last time we did
it's
an
going to be a
induction
big
ceremony.
crowd and
Covered by the media, and there'll be TV, there'll be radio, there'll be writers from Las Vegas. The celebrities will all be there.
Champagne and appetizers.
Champagne, appetizers. My wife Dorothy does an amazing job running the
she's
gallery.
quite the hostess.
She's unbelievable. She's the best.
Yeah, and that's all coming up October 7th. So
October 7th.
Let's wrap it up today. First, you've got a contract with Park West Galleries.
Yep.
2, you have a brand new jingle campaign that we're getting ready to roll out about Have You Been Portnoyed. And 3, you're going to unveil this year's inductees into the Wall of Honor. You're a pretty busy guy there, Mr.
Yeah, and I
Neal.
ordered a pair of Tom's newly patented trousers so I could put my cell phone in and not carry it around that night.
We didn't hear much about Tom's trousers. Tom, take a minute to tell us about your patent.
Okay, well, the patent was issued.
Yeah.
For real, on the design patent. It's a cell phone pants pocket that goes in between the torso and the leg and the natural crease in the body. So a lot of people put the cell phone in the back of their pants, and that's not a good idea because A, it looks bad, B, it pushes the spine out of alignment.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, see, the chiropractor will tell you don't do that.
Cell phones give you bad back.
Do not, no, seriously, chiropractor will
So
say
it goes
do
down,
not.
It goes onto the side here?
Or
or here?
No, in the crease between the torso and the leg. Crease between the torso and the leg. So it gives you full range of motion with your leg, and when you sit down, you have to worry about breaking a cell phone in your back pocket because it's not in your back pocket.
There will no longer be what they call butt phone calls.
Yeah,
butt
exactly.
Butt
You'll have to put the bra.
I don't know what you want to call the new dialing, but it won't be butt dialing, right?
Yeah, I always stick my cell phone in my bra. It's
We're going to take a short
That doesn't
break.
look good in there either.
No.
man.
We're going to take a short break right now, and this is a Gladys Knight song. This was for you, Tammy. I know you're going to love this, baby.
oh.
I've had my share of life's ups and downs, but fate's been kind. The downs have been few. I guess you could say that I've been lucky. I guess you could say that it's all because of you. If anyone should ever write my life story,
The COVID-19 pandemic is scary. It's changing the way our children are growing up. It's important to talk to our kids how they're feeling about what's going on. From toddler to high school, there are resources to help. Visit nvhealthresponse.nv.gov for more resources to help your family cope with the issues facing families amid the pandemic. Sponsored by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Nevada Division of Emergency Management, and your local emergency manager's office. Aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Both were prosecutors in the Clark County District Attorney's Office, each with 25 years of experience. One was chief of the Special Victims Unit, the other chief of the Homicide Unit. Both dedicated, both respected. Together, they are Craig Hendricks and Frank Como, the Vegas Dream Team for criminal defense you need in your corner. Call 702-222-9999 or visit vegasdreamteam.com, a division of DeCastro Verde Law Group.
there's no other place like Las Vegas to see. No other.
And we're back on the Las Vegas Rocks radio show with Keith Lyle and Juliet Northrup. Mr. Neal Portnoy and Tom Hillary, we're back, and let's go around the room with just a little bit. First, I want to come back to you, Juliet, because the reason why I was interested in your story about the union, the IATSE union, because I remember a time where the Shintas were appearing at the Sahara Hotel and Casino. I was the entertainment and marketing director there for 6 years, and they wanted to cut down the overhead. The union is very expensive. I remember it's probably more now, but it was $14,000 a week just to have the union at the expense to the showroom or to the show. But it was a four-wall, so therefore, and we participated, but that was part of the bill. And David Sachs also had a show there. The
Sahara?
At the Sahara. It was Buck Wild, and it was a Tapa show at 10 o'clock. And it did well. Both shows did well. But I wanted to cut the budget. There's one guy, and this is for the Shinta show. His job At the end of the Shinters, if you ever saw it when they were in act, at the end of the show, a big sign comes down, neon, says the Shinters, and it spells it out in neon and kind of shoots off fireworks and so on. It's the close of the show. This guy sat there, and his job was to push that button. That's it. So I'm checking it out. So how much does this guy get paid for that, you know? I found out it was $1,200 a week. I said, well, you know, okay, he's allowed to make a living, but that was a little sparse, a little nothing to do for $1,200. So I watched him one day, and he says, yeah, I do this. I push it to come down. I push it again to go up. And that's it. And what do you do in the meantime? Oh, I play free cell poker on my computer. And so, okay, thank you. Well, you're great. And so I contact Human Resources. And I said, you know, this is a little... Anyway, bottom line is, there is nothing you can do, Mr. Garrett.
It's a union.
There is nothing... Have you read the contract? I said, yes, I did. Okay, well, then you realize that there's nothing you can do. Okay. And there was nothing I could do, and I thought that was a little something. Mm-hmm. And I know these guys work hard, and I know they do a good job, and they deserve everything they get. But sometimes the layers of contract stuff gets a little bit out of control, and they may still be doing this, but they used to charge overtime in 5-minute segments.
All you need to remember is $17,000 for 4 lines. That's all you need to remember.
That was the residual, and
I'm
that was
still
based
carried
on
away with
sales.
that.
Okay. All right.
And I've never been Portnoy, so
I knew that was going to show up in this show.
Yes.
I knew it.
Let's just say that, you know, my career isn't quite all that what it could be.
What do you got coming up in the future?
Next week, I'll be next week, starting Thursday through Sunday, I'll be doing 10 shows. I'll be down at Delirious Comedy Club, down at the Downtown Grand. Shows at 8 and 10 p.m. all weekend with special early shows at 6 o'clock on Friday and Saturday. I'll be doing sets there all weekend long with headliner Slade Ham, who I went overseas with a couple of times. He's great. He's a heavy hitter, man. He's
just
funny.
real quick. What is the premise of your act? What do you?
I talk about being a bad husband. I talk about growing up Jewish. We
can all raise our hands.
Yes, being a bad husband, growing up Jewish. Having crazy parents, crazy family. A couple of different goofy things. You see things in the world that just aren't right, and you say, "Hey, something's not right about that."
Are you bullish on your own future?
I am.
You think there's a lot of good things coming in front?
I sure hope so. Now that I'm on this show, I expect
this
more
is
good
it, right?
things. This is one of the top.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for that.
My pleasure.
And we look forward to seeing you live and in person, and I appreciate you coming on the show today.
I hope to do it again soon.
And also, back to you, Juliet, for a second. Now, are you working for Boyd Gaming? That shows up on your...
Yes.
Yes. Are you part of their crew over there?
Yes. I work in the food and beverage department.
Okay.
And we're reopening next week. Mm-hmm. It's been a year and a half.
What are you opening? The buffet?
That's opening.
Does it have prime rib? let's go, Neil.
Yeah, they're opening different hours. I hear they're going to be having brunch hours and then
that's great.
Dinner.
Well, we look forward to seeing you on the 8th of October downtown at Notoriety for Luke Perry's Personality Network Awards.
Thank you.
Mr. Portnoy, what's on your agenda for the weekend?
Draw. I've got 4 Portnoy caricatures on the board right now with a commission piece I'm doing for someone. I've got 3 jobs coming in. I've got a lot of meetings. We're launching the entire campaign for the new jingle this week. Mm-hmm. And, it's just time keeps flying by.
I'm glad you're busy.
I'm blessed. I am blessed.
Mr. Hillary, we look forward to your more stories about what's going on in the UK and your movie.
Oh, thanks so much. I'm hoping we can get some of this work going over here in Nevada.
We will. We got to get movies back to Nevada. And I want to thank everybody for listening to the Las Vegas Rocks radio show tonight. We will continue to support local entertainers and their shows. And we feel we were instrumental in keeping the Vegas vibe alive during the pandemic, the outages and the closings. I know we did. We had no trouble getting a lot of guests, and right now I'm getting better guests than we ever had. You guys were terrific tonight. The Las Vegas Rocks radio show continues to gain audience every single week. Thank you to Jim Dallas, our studio producer, Tammy Morelli, her unending support of what I do, and of course, a tip of the hat to Las Vegas Entertainment Ambassador, Mr. Tony Sacca. Tony said Las Vegas rocks, and he was right. You're listening to Tony singing right now on my closing music. Thank you all for listening and watching on Facebook Live. See you next week. I'm Ron Garrett, and good night.
as we walk under the lights. Vegas nights, I'll always remember the love that we shared. Vegas nights, Vegas nights.